What I would like to talk about today, it's a topic that came out of my book, Unlock Your Possibilities. In fact, it's a chapter out of the book. And the chapter itself is titled Coping with Adversity. What I would like to do in this episode is to share a summary of one of the chapters in my book, Unlock Your Possibilities. The title of the chapter itself is Coping with Adversity. Now, governments experience it. Business organizations experience it. And so too do people. We experience it. And it's called adversity. The dictionary defines adversity as a calamitous event that is a state of hardship or misfortune. So that in this book, Unlock Your Possibilities, I looked at adversity from three different perspectives. I looked at adversity from the perspective of the government and how they deal with adversity, from the perspective of business organizations, and from an individual's perspective. I then provide lucid examples of how each of the categories handled its challenges or its difficulties. So first, let's go ahead and take a look at adversity from the perspective of the government. Now let's go back to the Great Depression of 1933, which is a period which was preceded by the stock market crash of 1929. This was a calamitous event in our nation's economy that nearly brought down the nation's economic experiment known as free market enterprise. It affected nearly every nation in the world. In the book, I discussed the implications of the crash in detail. But for now, though, I'd like to take a look at it based on what the government does. How does it fight adversity, financial adversity, financial events in financial adversity? Now, the government has two main tools when it comes to fighting financial adversity: the fiscal and the monetary policy. In other words, the Federal Reserve Board can intervene, and our Congress and the President can too. But as we see in the most recent bank failures, they were precipitated by a run on the banks of Silicon Valley Bank of California and Signature Bank of New York. Some of the major banks came to the rescue, giving the saying, "I am my brother's keeper," a whole new meaning. Now, in the book, I delved into the role of these entities in their attempts to bring about stability to the world's financial market. Now, second, I look at adversity from the perspective of businesses. In business, challenges crop up from time to time. Some are more difficult than others to overcome. And persisting against current and future challenges should be a major part of your plan. No, you can't. It's not the time to throw in the towel. You can't give up yet. But adversity in the corporate world may vary from business to business. For that reason, the approach to solving adversity in a business may also vary depending upon the situation. Let's take a good example. Elon Musk, for example. He applied a specific strategy to solve the problems he faced with the failure of his first rocket to reach orbit, as well as quality problems with the early model Tesla Roadster. In an interview with Scott Pelley of CBS News, Musk responded to questions about setbacks he suffered in his businesses in 2008. Scott Pelley prefaced the story about Musk this way, and I quote, "At the age of 37, he hit rock bottom. His first rocket failed to reach orbit, and an early model Tesla Roadster had quality problems," close quote. and expel it directly. He now directly engages Musk by reminding him that, and I quote, in 2008, the rocket company is not going well. You had 3 failures. The car company is hemorrhaging money, and I close quote. And Musk sarcastically replied, yeah. And the American economy has tanked in worse recessions since the Great Depression, right? Now, that, again, he continued, was definitely the worst year of my life. If that 4th launch hadn't worked, that would have been it. Now, we wouldn't have had the resources to mount a 5th launch. And I close quote. Musk, again, he revealed. As we now know that, Musk emerged unscathed from those challenges. In Unlock Your Possibilities, though, I talked about the strategies he applied, he used to overcome failures in his ventures. I also go to great lengths to talk about other strategies that you should take or you may take as a business owner to overcome the adversities you may face. For example, I discussed how you can examine the internal processes of your business and how to renegotiate the financial obligations that the business's financial obligations that can impede its growth. In fact, I took steps to show you how you can examine the internal processes of your business. So if you're running a business and you are about to throw in the towel because of difficulties you may face, please don't throw in the towel yet. I know you're strong. I know you can do it. Try and get a copy of this book. The ideas in it may prove to be quite helpful. Now, let me share with you 1 or 2 more stories that may help provide you the motivation to continue in your business. Henry Ford, for example, he had several businesses in the early years and failed 5 times before founding the Ford Motor Company. Imagine if he had given up, what would have been the loss to this nation, that we would have had to live with. Let me give you another example. It's been stated that Thomas Edison made 1,000 attempts at inventing the light bulb before he finally succeeded at 1,001 times. Therefore, your business may be small, and the challenges may seem insurmountable, but giving up cannot be part of the strategy unless you've exhausted every possible avenue at providing a solution. And finally, adversity from a personal perspective. In my research, I discovered many strategies of how you can overcome personal adversities, and I shared them in the book. But out of that research, I found one major fact that when people are faced with difficulties, they spend very little time to introspect their situations. Instead, they look and blame everyone else for their difficulties. In the book, I also shared my very own personal adversity with the hopes that it will spur you to act on the possibilities, on the solutions that I offer in the book. So when you get a copy of it, I ask you to apply the principles in it. Read it. They might just revolutionize your world. And I truly believe they would. You can confidently use them to solve your personal problems. Finally, you need a copy of the book. Again, you do. It's got so much material that can be helpful to you. It's got great ideas that will mean so much more to you and your loved ones. The thing of it is, I know it's got these ideas. And if it's just one idea that you get out of this book to revolutionize your world, hey, my goal would have been reached. That's my goal, to make a difference. And so until then, I would be happy, by the way, if it's just one idea. But to end this summary, the summary of this chapter, and again, the chapter is coping with adversity, I want to also let you know that it's not just this one chapter that can really be helpful to you. There are other chapters that can empower you to reach your goals. And there are chapters such as the power of the mind, thought, and belief. Goal setting and goal achievement. Knowledge and skills acquisition. Developing the winning attitude. Building your self-esteem. And fear, what it is and how it can be controlled. Building a winning team. Communication for winners. Persuasion. And finally, to encapsulate this discussion, this conversation, the last chapter is titled Creating a Sense of Synergy. Creating a sense of synergy. Putting it all into perspective. But for now, you can send me your comments on the address below. Until then, I really, really wish you success in your work against your adversities. And I know you can. You can do it. Until then, I'll see you again.